Hello students, welcome to the online class on solid state physics, which comes under your paper 6A in your 5th semester. Now we are dealing about unit 2. I am N. Chandana, assistant professor of physics from Government Degree College, Kharkabad, Hyderabad. See a quick recap on our first unit. We have done half of the unit there. That is crystalline nature of matter, that is amorphous nature of matter and crystalline state of matter we have studied. Then we have done the space lattice, unit cell and crystal lattice, where entire crystal lattice structure will be equal to basis plus space lattice. We have learned that. Then we have seen elements of symmetry. There are 3 types of elements of symmetry we have learned. Then the 7 crystal systems, CTO or HMT, I have given you in detail. Then we had Bravais space lattices and various parameters enclosing those Bravais space lattices, like atomic radius, coordination number, and we have even calculated the volume of the unit cell, right? Next, calculation of lattice constant also we have done A. Then we have done Miller indices and interplanar spacing D. Okay, X-ray diffraction, Bragg's law of X-ray diffraction we have done. 2d sin theta equal to 10 lambda. And also crystallography by lay and powder method. So what is this lay and powder method? By using that lay and powder method, we can easily determine the crystal structure of the synthesized crystals. We want to study the structure of the synthesized crystals, then we use a lay method for a single crystal, and then powder methods for micro crystals, like multiple number of crystals. When the crystal is in matter is in the form of powder, we use this powder method. Okay, now let us go for our new chapter, second unit. So that's magnetic materials. So first let me take the whiteboard. See, magnetic materials. Okay, so what is meant by magnetic material? Magnetic material. Magnetic material means these are the substances. If I take a substance here, these are the substances which are affected by another magnet. If I have a magnet here, external magnet, this is another magnet means external magnet. If I have a magnet here and I'm having a reaction on this substance by this magnet, I'm having a reaction on this substance because of this external magnet which is brought near to this substance, then this substance is said to be magnetic substance, right, or magnetic material. Okay, see, if I take a material and which is getting influenced because of or affected, or else which is getting affected or influenced, or there will be a change in the motion of, there will be a change in the position of this substance, the properties of this substance, because of the magnet which is brought near to this substance, then this type of material is said to be magnetic material. Magnetic material or magnetic substance. Magnetic material or magnetic substance. So these magnetic materials or magnetic substance are classified into 3 types. So what are those types? Paramagnetic, diamagnetic, and ferromagnetic substances. So these 3 magnetic materials, the magnetic materials are in general classified into 3 types: paramagnetic materials, diamagnetic materials, and ferromagnetic materials. Okay, here I can just give you in a brief that see, based on electron theory, we explain the behavior of this magnetic substances. So explain the behavior of magnetic substances using this electron theory. What is that? See, you know that matter is made up of atoms, right? So matter is made up of atoms. See, in atom we have nucleus, which is a positively charged, which is at core of the center core of the atom, while electrons are negatively charged particles revolving around the nucleus. Okay, in elliptical orbits. Okay, then see, I'll draw that. So I have a nucleus here. It's a positively charged, I told you, because it consists of protons, which are positively charged particles, and neutrons, which are neutrally charged. Okay, now I have electrons revolving around this nucleus. Okay, at the same time, the electron undergoes spin motion around itself, right? It revolves around the nucleus. At the same time, it has spin motion around itself, around its own axis. Electron spins itself around its own axis, and at the same time it revolves around the nucleus in elliptical orbits with respect about to the nucleus. Okay, so what is happening now? Since the nucleus is also a charged particle, electrons are negatively charged, you know that. Now what is happening? This electron, and this revolving electron, behaves like a magnetic dipole, right? Because number of protons, if I take hydrogen nucleus, has one proton and one electron. So I have one proton, one electron. That means minus one charge of electron. They're separated by plus q and minus q, separated by fixed distance. This can be treated as a dipole, right? Electric dipole. Okay. Now, because since it is revolving around the nucleus, this charge electron is a charged particle. When a charged electron is revolving around the nucleus in elliptical orbits, what is happening? Then there will be a magnetic field surrounding this. There will be a magnetic field surrounding this. Orbit, right? Movement of electron. So what is this? Now, this is called magnetic dipole moment. Because of this magnetic field, we get a magnetic dipole moment. Now, because of spin also, when electron is revolving around itself, that is spinning about itself, about its own axis, then also we have a magnetic moment. This is due to spin magnetic moment, and this is due to orbital magnetic moment. This is orbital magnetic moment. Because of orbital motion, we have orbital magnetic moment. Here because of spin, we have spin magnetic moment. Okay, so we have spin magnetic moment and orbital magnetic moments. So in total, we have total magnetic moment. Okay. Now, the magnetic moment due to electron spin is always greater than that of magnetic moment due to this electron rotation about this nucleus, revolving around this nucleus. Hence, we always consider that the magnetic moment is always due to the electron spin rather than due to orbital motion of this electron. Okay. Now these magnetic moment vectors are oriented in different directions in an atom. So in an atom, we have lots of number of electrons. If I take more complex atom, we have more number of electrons, right? Then what happens? The magnetic moment vectors will be oriented in different directions. So one will be spin up, and will be spin down, and will be spin up, spin down. In this way, I have different magnetic moments of electrons revolving around the nucleus. Okay. Now, when this magnetic moment, the vector sum of all these magnetic moments is 0. When this vector sum of all the magnetic moments is 0, that means vector sum means I will take the direction. So if electron is spinning in clockwise, plus up, Anti-clockwise again minus half. Again, one electron is spinning in clockwise plus half. Anti-clockwise minus half. In this way, if I take, then what happens? The total vector sum, right? So the entire vector sum of magnetic moments is 0. When the vector sum of magnetic moments is 0, then what is the type of material? We can say that the type of material is diamagnetic material. That is called as diamagnetic material. This is the major property of diamagnetic material. What is that? When the vector sum of magnetic moments of the substance containing all the different types of atoms, then these atoms consist of electrons, then the vector sum of all the magnetic moments, when it becomes 0, then the material is said to be diamagnetic material. Okay, then the material is said to be diamagnetic material. Okay, now this material, this property where we can find is when there are even number of electrons, right? Even number of electrons, as I told you now, I have 2 electrons. I have one spin plus half, the other electron spin is minus half. So the vector sum of both the magnetic moments will be always equal to 0. Hence, we can observe this diamagnetism in which type of materials, which atoms or which molecules have total number of electrons are even in number, like even in number or in pairs, So in such type of substances, we see the property of diamagnetism. Right? Now, let us go for other substance, that is paramagnetic substance. Okay. So now I understood how the magnetic moments play an important role in magnetic materials properties. Like how can we classify them into para, dia, and ferro? Okay. Now let me give you the paramagnetic. Paramagnetism. What is that? See now, when the arrangement of orbits are in such a way that what is happening? Now the vector sum of magnetic moments is not equal to 0. Okay, is not equal to 0. Now that means what? When the vector sum of magnetic moments is not equal to 0 means there is a resultant magnetic moment. Resultant magnetic moment is present. Okay, there is some value, that's the magnitude of resultant magnetic moment. Then that is other than 0. Hence, what happens? This type of material with magnetic moment presence are called paramagnetic substances. So this phenomenon is called paramagnetism. Okay, here paramagnetism we have permanent magnetic moments. For paramagnetic materials we have permanent magnetic moments. Okay, now here in which atoms or in which type of atoms we exhibit this permanent magnetic moment is, you can easily understand. Now the electron spinning in the same direction, right? Now the electron spinning in the same direction. Now this electron is spinning, it is having plus half. Again one electron is spinning, it is also having plus half. So again what happens? The net momentum will be plus half. So it will be of that magnitude double that of this one, double that of a single electron. Okay. So then we can say that there is a permanent magnetic moment exists for that type of atoms. So that type of moment exhibited by this magnetic moment exhibited by this type of substances is said to be paramagnetism. Okay. Now, this is a small magnetic moment in quantity, like magnitude is a little bit small if you take it, but there will be a small magnetic moment. Small magnetic moment means the magnetic moment is not zero, but it is small in magnetic moment. Now, when the orbits are so oriented that if the atom as a whole has large magnetic moment, they have large magnetic moments than that of para, then type of materials are called as ferromagnetic materials or ferromagnetic substances, or this phenomenon is called ferromagnetism. Okay, so we can say that the ferromagnetic materials are nothing but paramagnetic materials which exhibit more magnetic moment, which exhibit high magnetism when applied by an external magnetic field. So I have a magnet here. Now I am applying external magnetic field. What is happening? Now I have random arrangement of atoms here, magnetic moments. Now once I am applying external field, now all are aligned in the direction of the applied magnetic field with slight magnetic moment. Then such type of materials are called as paramagnetic materials. But when they exhibit high magnetic moment, high magnetic properties, high magnetism, such type of materials are said to be ferromagnetic materials. Okay. Now, because of this ferromagnetic materials, they form some domains. Okay. In ferromagnetic materials, they form some domains. Okay. Like individual domains, they'll form like all the magnets in one direction, all the dipoles, magnetic bipoles, other direction will become a set of sets of magnetic moments. These sets are named as domains, magnetic domains. Because of this, they exhibit high magnetism. Okay, so these type of materials are called as ferromagnetic materials. Okay, now let us see magnetic properties of these three materials one by one. Okay, now let us come for paramagnetic materials. Paramagnetic, I'll draw in this way so it would be easy for you to classify them. Diamagnetic, I have ferromagnetic. Okay, so what is paramagnetic? Here I already told you the materials which are placed in magnetic field, what happens? They acquire small magnetism, or we say that feeble magnetism. Feeble magnetism in the direction of magnetic field. This is very important. In the direction of magnetic field, as I told you before, in the direction of magnetic field. Feeble magnetism. Such type of materials are said to be paramagnetic. But here, feeble magnetism, same, but opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field. Okay, opposite to the direction of applied magnetic field. Here, ferromagnetic is similar to paramagnetic but with high intensity, right? So can write strong magnetism. If the ferromagnetic materials are the substances which exhibit strong magnetism properties in the direction of applied magnetic field. Okay, this is the first point we can discuss. Like here applying in the applied field, we are applying one field, then what happens? The magnetic field direction will be in the same direction as that of the applied magnetic field. Then such type of materials are said to be paramagnetic. In opposite direction, diamagnetic. In the same direction with high properties, high magnetism or stronger magnetic properties, they are ferromagnetic materials. Then examples, let me give you. You know, no? Aluminium, also platinum, also oxygen. Okay, oxygen is also a paramagnetic. Okay, and also some solutions of iron. Solutions of iron also comes under paramagnetic materials examples: aluminum, platinum, oxygen, and solutions of iron. Okay, here you can take it from me: silver, gold, sodium chloride also I can take it, and we have this mercury, mercury which comes under diamagnetic: silver, gold, sodium chloride, mercury. You also have copper, all this zinc. Okay, bismuth also comes. I remember bismuth also comes. So zinc, bismuth, silver, gold, sodium chloride, mercury, copper, all these comes under diamagnetic substances. When we come to paramagnetic ferromagnetic substances, we have, you know that, right? Iron and all the alloys of iron. Okay, we have iron. Okay, nickel, cobalt, iron, nickel, cobalt, and we have some alloys of iron. And magnetite is also very important. Magnetite, you have to remember this. Fe3O4. This is also a perfect ferromagnetic material. Okay, iron, cobalt and nickel, and magnetite. Silver, gold, sodium chloride, mercury, copper, zinc, and bismuth. Okay. Aluminium, platinum, oxygen, and solutions of iron comes under paramagnetic materials. Okay. Now, feeble magnetism in opposite direction, strong magnetism in the direction of the magnetic field. We have ferro. Okay. These two are the major differences. Now, let me give you the other differences also. Again, I'll write para, dia, ferro. Okay. Now you have paramagnetic materials. We have what happens in paramagnetic material. So the magnetic material. So now we'll take the paramagnetic material. Here, let us observe some properties like permeability mu is equal to B by H. You know that, right? Magnetic permeability B is equal to mu H. Magnetic field intensity B, induction B bar is equal to mu into H. So mu is equal to B by H. Okay. Now the applied field intensity is H, and B is the induced magnetic field. So what happens here? Nu is slightly greater than 1 and positive. Not 1 exactly, you can take it 1 sometimes, but it is always positive. That means greater than 0 you can take it. Sometimes it may be equal to 1 sometimes. Okay. But slightly, always the induced magnetic field obtained because of the applied magnetic field H is always great. Okay, a little bit greater than that of applied field intensity. Okay, here what is happening in diamagnetic, let me tell you. In diamagnetic also, what is mu is equal to B by H. You have studied this in intermediate. B is equal to mu into H. Okay, what is happening here? Mu is always less than 1, and mu is always less than 1. You can take it. Next, I will tell you the other property also. This is 3, 3, 3, right? What happens here? Here, here extremely high, like mu is always greater than 1. It is always extremely high, no? So more positive, more than the paramagnetic materials. Here, but in dia we have mu is less than 1. Okay. Now, when in paramagnetic substance, we can take it as susceptibility. Susceptibility is always, what is happening? Susceptibility very small and positive here. Okay. Here the susceptibility is negative. That means less than 0. Small and positive means greater than 0. And here what is happening? Susceptibility is inversely proportional to the absolute temperature. Okay. What is this temperature is called? Curie temperature. Okay. Now at a Curie temperature, what is happening? The ferromagnetic substance becomes paramagnetic substance. Means whenever we increase the temperature to a certain temperature, when T is increased gradually for a particular value of temperature Tc, that is Curie temperature, what is happening? Curie temperature, what is happening? The given ferromagnetic substance becomes para. So this is because of increase in temperature at a particular value is critical temperature. Okay, after this temperature, the material becomes into paramagnetic. They exhibit the properties of paramagnetic materials. Okay, you know now what is psi? Psi is equal to I by H. To I by H, intensity of magnetization by applied field intensity. So I by H. So I is this greater than H here, but it is very smaller value. That is, psi is very small. Then that means this is positive, but it is very much in small values. Here this is in negative, but here it is inversely proportional to the temperature of the substance. If you increase the temperature of the substance more and more, at a particular after particular temperature, the temperature called Curie temperature, what happens? Ferromagnetic material turns into paramagnetic material. Okay, so all these four properties you have to write down in your examination. Okay, this is nothing but a classification of magnetic materials. Okay, students. So now let me come to summary of the topic what I have told you. So let me come to the summary. So we have studied so far classification of magnetic substances, magnetic properties of matter, para, dia, and ferromagnetic materials. Okay, they exhibit feeble magnetism in the direction of the magnetic field. They exhibit feeble magnetism opposite to the direction of the magnetic field, but they exhibit high magnetism in the direction of the magnetic field than that of para, which is having susceptibility inversely proportional to temperature, absolute temperature, and permeability much greater than 1. And here susceptibility and permeability are also slightly positive and greater than 0 and slightly equal to 1. And dia where susceptibility and permeability are always less than 0 or negative. Okay. Now in next class, let us see Langevin's theory of paramagnetism. It's exclusively for paramagnetic material. What did Langevin suggest, and how do we obtain the magnetic field intensity, right? Magnetic field intensity because of the applied magnetic field H. What is going to happen for the magnetic field intensity I? So we'll calculate and we'll observe for different cases and we'll calculate the susceptibility, because you know that susceptibility is equal to I by H, right? So from this we can obtain the susceptibilities for that material, particular paramagnetic material, using Langevin's theory. So he has given a theory on that. Okay, students. So I hope you understood what are magnetic materials and because why their materials exhibit magnetic properties, because of the electron revolving around the nucleus in elliptical orbits, because electron is a charged particle. So it has spin magnetic moment and also orbital magnetic moment because it's orbital motion, and spin because of its own revolution around itself, that is spin. So paramagnetic materials have permanent magnetic moment, while diamagnetic has magnetic moment 0, net magnetic moment, while ferromagnetic has high magnetic moments, larger magnetic moments. Okay, students. So this is the summary of the topics what we have covered today. So thank you so much for your patient listening. Let me see you in the next class. Take care.